Hello! In this video I'm showing you how to install, set up and operate the Hive Thermostat Mini, which has the hub with it, so you can then use Hive's active heating and then operate your central heating from your smartphone. So this video will also help you if you're installing Hive's original smart thermostat, which has that knob in the middle of the thermostat, so the installation and the setup is exactly the same, but the thermostat works slightly differently. So of course I'm going to cover how to install the Hive Smart Hub and what the lights mean on top of the hub. I'll then move on to the receiver unit and I'll show you how to wire that into a combination boiler and then how to test that it's working correctly, and of course linking it to the hub. Then it's the thermostat's turn and I'll show you how to pair that to the hub and the receiver unit and how you can check that it's then all working correctly. It's then time to install Hive's active heating onto your smartphone, link it to the hub so you can then control your central heating from your smartphone. I'll go into the basic operation of the app so you will then be able to use manual, be able to use schedule and set times and temperatures, and of course turn your heating off, so you'll then be able to get straight on with controlling your central heating from your smartphone. Just before I get on with the video, I want to quickly let you know that I've made lots of other videos all about this Hive Smart Thermostat, and you'll find all of those linked in the description below. In these videos, I will show you more wiring options for your receiver unit. I'll show you some stand options for the thermostat, how to install it onto a traditional system where you have that large hot water tank, installing it as just a thermostat so there's no smartphone options, and how to install additional controls like an extra thermostat so you can control a separate zone, or maybe you want to install some smart thermostatic radiator valves so you can then control an individual radiator with times and temperatures. Right, now let's get on with installing this Hive Active Heating. So here's a Hive Thermostat Mini box, and we want to make sure we've got the one with the hub in it. So we look on the side, you can see we've got the thermostat, the receiver and the hub. Take a look inside the box, and inside here again we've got the hub, the receiver unit and the mini thermostat. So let's take a quick look inside the hub box. There's a little bit of paperwork, and then here is the hub. If we look on the back of the hub, there's a power connection and the internet connection. And then in the bottom of the box we've got our internet cable, we've got our power cable, and we've also got a plug to plug into the wall. In the receiver box, all we have inside here is just the receiver, and this needs to be wired into our boiler or our controls. And finally the thermostat, and all we have in here is a little bit of paperwork and then the thermostat itself. And it comes with the 4 AAA batteries which are needed to run it. So let's just take the back cover off, and there you go. There's the 4 batteries, and there's a little tag there which we need to pull out when we are doing the setup. And when we finished installing everything, there's a little bit of plastic film to pull off the front. So here's everything that we've got in the box. We've got our thermostat, we've got the hub, and we've got the receiver unit. Now there's no screws or wall plugs to fit any of this to the wall. So the thermostat can be screwed to a wall or it can go on a stand. And of course the hub, that would just stand on its little feet next to your router, and the receiver unit you would also want to screw to the wall. Now the first thing that we need to do is to install the Hive Internet Hub. So we've got our power cable here, and of course that just plugs straight into the back of the hub like that. Now at the end of this power cord is just a standard USB plug, which we just plug straight into the USB power supply plug. You can probably use any USB power supply as long as the output is 5 volts. Now we just need to plug an internet cable, and there we go. Now we're ready to plug it into our router. Now I need to plug the Hive Hub into the internet router. So here's my Sky router box. So just turn that around so I can get to the back of it, and you can see there are 3 spare sockets. So I'm just going to plug the hub into one of those. And there we go. Now you must have a broadband router and a spare socket. If you don't, you can't use Hive's Active Heating. Now I just need to plug it in. Now this is already a very busy table. We've got a Sky router, we've got a phone, we've got a picture frame, and we've also got a diffuser. And then underneath here you can see it is already rammed with lots of plugs. So for now I'm going to unplug the picture frame and the diffuser. I've already switched the switch off, and now I'm just going to plug our new hub into the wall like that. So now it's all ready to go. So let's switch on the power to the hub. There we go, power on. You can see that the green lights come on and the red light came on very briefly. Now the green light is going to start flashing and the hub is connecting to the Hive server on the internet. And what we're waiting for is the amber light in the middle here to start flashing and the green light on the top to turn to a solid green. And then we're ready to go on to the next stage, which is turning on the receiver unit, which will be wired into our boiler or our system controls. Now, like I said, the Hive Hub is now connecting to the Hive server where it will be preparing an account for you and also doing a system update. Now, this can take some time. Hive says it should take between 5 and 10 minutes. But I found it sometimes can take much longer than that. I had one customer where it took 4 hours for it to finally get to that next setup stage. Now, to be honest, I can't remember whether that was Hive or Nest, but it definitely took forever for it to finally make that internet connection. But it did get there in the end. So just be patient, let it do its thing. If you turn the power off, of course, it's going to restart the process all over again. So I wanted to keep everything together so I can show you all the components installed in one place and not be in different rooms. Just a quick tip for you, when you come to install your receiver unit next to your boiler or maybe the hot water tank, try to keep it at least 300mm away from those metal objects. That's so you don't get any interference with the signal. Having said that, I have installed them a lot closer and I haven't found any problems. So here is my receiver unit and over here we have the hub, which is still flashing green, and the receiver unit is wired into my combination boiler. Now I know this doesn't look like a combination boiler, but that is what I'm using for my boiler. You see the wire goes around into the boiler, and then when the receiver unit tells the boiler come on, this will light up, and then we know that this switch is working correctly inside the receiver unit. Now on my combination boiler here, I have my power coming into it. So this is just a live, neutral and earth. Now that would normally be wired into switch fuse spur. On this occasion, I've just got it on a plug so I can just plug it in. Now this is wired up exactly the same as it would be on a combination boiler. So I've got my wire coming around into the receiver unit. That's a 5-core flex. So I have a live, neutral and earth and 2 switch wires. So let's take a look inside the receiver unit and see how that is wired in. Now on the bottom of the receiver unit there are 2 little screws. We don't need to remove these to take it apart. We just need to undo them so we can lift it up like that and then hinge it off the top. And there we go, we can now see our wiring. So we have our 230 volt live connection, we've got our neutral connection, and then we've got our earth connection, and that's just to protect the flex, and it's a place to isolate the earth because the actual receiver unit doesn't need an earth connection, it's double insulated. And then on terminals 1 and 3, we have the switch connections to turn the boiler on and off. Now there are several different ways to wire up the receiver unit. Now on my video how to install, set up and operate a Hive Mini Thermostat, I go into more wiring options. So do check that one out if you're unsure. Now you might also want to know that on the back of the receiver unit just here there is a little wiring diagram, again showing you those connections. Now when it comes to wiring into your boiler, every boiler is slightly different. And if you get the wiring wrong, you could destroy your circuit board on your boiler. And with circuit boards costing around £250, you don't want to go doing that. So it's always recommended to get a gas registered engineer to carry out the work for you. And I've left a link in the description which will take you to the gas register where you can find a local gas registered engineer. Now on the scenario I'm using now, I have my live, neutral and earth linked with a live, neutral and earth coming into the boiler, and I've got my switch wires on terminals 3 and 4. And like I said, those switch wires are going to be different on every boiler. Now this is just complete luck, but I point at the hub to show you the light is still flashing green when the red light suddenly flashes. Now red light means there's been an error and it's failed to connect to the server. So if this does happen to you, make sure that you've got that internet connection. Check it is working on your phone. And reading the paperwork from Hive there, it seems like there's not a lot else you can do apart from contact their technical team. You can try turning it off and then back on again, or maybe try doing it at a different time of the day, maybe first thing in the morning or maybe at night. I've taken this description of what the lights mean from the Hive website. I left a link in the description taking you to the Hive instructions. Now, whilst the Hive Hub is trying to connect to the Hive server, I'm going to test that the wiring is correct on the receiver unit. So now I'm going to turn the power on to the boiler. So we've got power coming into the boiler, which then also supplies the receiver unit. And now we can see the amber light on the receiver unit has started flashing. 2 quick flashes. And the light is amber in color. Now the receiver unit is looking for the hub, but it's not going to find the hub until the lights on the hub change to a solid green and we get the flashing amber light. But we can test that we got the wiring correct by pressing the button on the front of the receiver unit like this. Press that and now you can see my boiler light has come on. So I now know my boiler's on. And you can also see that we've got a green light around the button on the receiver unit. Now, if I push the button again, the green light will start flashing, and in around about 50 seconds, it'll turn the boiler off. Now, I'm not sure why Hive has made this delay, but that's the way they operate. Now, I'm not going to wait 50 seconds for it to get to that stage, so I'm just going to jump forward 30 seconds, and there we go, the green light has stopped flashing and the boiler has gone off. Now I thought I'd show you this again with my camera lights turned off, so then all the lights show up a little bit clearer. But it was at this point that the hub actually makes its connection to the server, and then the receiver unit pairs itself with the hub. But initially I'm showing you that I've got the receiver unit wired in properly and it turns the boiler on and off. But keep an eye on the hub because any second the light turns to a solid green and the amber light starts flashing, meaning that the hub has now found the server on the internet and it's made that connection. And you can see that's now happened. And the receiver unit has still got that double flashing amber light, so it's still looking for the hub. In just a second you'll see that amber light changes from a double flash to a single flash, 1 second on, 1 second off. And you can see they've now linked up. So when that changes to that 1 second flash, it then means that they have now paired together. And we're ready to move on to the next stage, which is to add the thermostat. Now, meanwhile, I was showing you how to check that you've got your wiring correct on your receiver unit. You can see I've pressed the button on the receiver unit because the green light is flashing at the bottom of the receiver unit. And then any second, you'll see the green light will stop flashing and it'll turn the boiler off. And there we go, the green light on receiver has stopped flashing and it's turned the boiler off. So we know that the wiring is correct on the receiver unit. Now we still got our 2 flashing amber lights on the hub and on the receiver unit. So now we are ready to add the wireless room thermostat. So now we are ready to power on our room thermostat. Now this is nice and straightforward. All we got to do is turn it over. We just take the back cover off and we just hinge it up from the bottom there like that. And then we got the 4 AA batteries. And all we need to do is to remove this little tag just here. So there we go. We just gently pull that out like that. Now I can turn it over and now we're going to see the Hive powering up. Now you can see the screen is quite reflective. It's reflecting everything in the room. But it now says welcome to Hive, and then it's going to show us a little bit of technical information, and then it's going to go on to the next stage where it's searching for the hub and the receiver unit. Now hopefully you can see that it says searching on the display and there's a little timer which is counting up. Now it takes roughly about 20 seconds usually for them to connect. Sometimes it might take a little longer, but in general it's around about the 20-second mark. And then any second it's going to say pairing, and now you can see both lights on the receiver unit and on the hub have turned to a solid green and the amber lights have gone away. And on the front of the thermostat it says pairing successful, and that's it. It is all ready to be used now. Now obviously we still need to download the app onto our phone, but we can test that this is all working correctly or even use it without using the app by just using the room thermostat. So I'll just demonstrate to you now how you can use the thermostat without having the app. Because there is a possibility at some time you may not be able to use your phone and you want to turn your heating on or off by using the thermostat. So to turn the heating on by just using a thermostat, I can press the button in the middle and the display lights up, showing me the actual temperature of the room. The display then changes and tells me that the heating is turned off. And then the display changes back to actual temperature before the screen goes out. Now to turn the heating on or off, we need to press one of these up or down arrows. So I'm going to press the up arrow. As soon as I do that, the display changes and it shows me the target temperature. So that's the temperature that we've set our house to heat up to. That was 7 degrees. Now I can press this button like that, or I can hold it and then the temperature will rise, and I'm going to go up to 25 degrees. There we are, 25 degrees target temperature, and now the heating's going to turn on. We're looking for that light to come on. There we are, light is on, and now our boiler is firing up. The thermostat now says heating to 25 degrees before changing back to the actual room temperature, and that little icon has now changed to a flame. And after a couple of seconds, the screen goes out. Now to turn the heating back off again, we could just touch the button in the middle and that would just show us the temperature of the room, which is 22.8 degrees, and our heating is set to 25 degrees. Now to turn the temperature down, all we need to do is press the down arrow and turn the target temperature down to the temperature that we want the house at. So I've set the thermostat to 20 degrees and that's going to turn the heating off. And there you go, you can now see that the light on the receiver unit has started flashing, telling us that it's going to turn the heating off. Now once again, this takes about 50 seconds normally, and then the green light on the receiver unit will stop flashing and we'll see our boiler turn off. So I'm not going to wait 50 seconds, so I'll just cut straight to the point where it turns the boiler off. And there we go, receiver light has stopped flashing and the boiler has turned off. And that's how we use the thermostat to turn the heating on and off without using the app on our smartphone. Now we've got the system all up and running, we can now look to fit the thermostat onto the wall. Here's the back plate, and that just slots onto the back of the thermostat like that, and then we just push the thermostat down onto the bracket. So we could just fix that to the wall somewhere. A nice easy place to install them is onto the stairs because it's wood and you can easily just screw the bracket to the wood, and then you just clip the thermostat onto the bracket. Now quite often I'll see people with them just put on the side like that, but it's not very stable, and of course it is quite an expensive unit, so you don't want to go breaking it. So it's best to either fix it to a wall or get a stand. Now the Hive stand is quite expensive, but I bought this stand for a fraction of the price and it does a really good job. Once you've finished, you could then remove the plastic film from the front of the thermostat. One last thing about the room thermostat, if you press the button in the middle and then you touch it again, it then takes us to a menu. We can scroll through this menu by using the up and down arrows. So I can go to off, which will obviously turn your heating off. I could go up to schedule, so it runs the timer, or I could go up to manual. So you can use the thermostat or the app on the phone to select either schedule, manual or off. To activate one of the settings, we then need to touch the button in the middle, and now you can see manual is selected. If I touch that middle button again and then go to one of the side arrows up and down, I can move down to schedule and then again touch the button in the middle, and there we are, heating schedule active. And of course you can do exactly the same to turn your heating off. Scroll down to off, touch the middle button, and now it says heating off, frost protection. So if for any reason you can't use your smartphone, you can always use the thermostat to control the heating. Just before I show you how to install the app onto your smartphone, let me very quickly introduce myself. My name is Mark Ballard and I've been a gas registered engineer for nearly 30 years. The aim of my channel is to help you with your central heating and your plumbing. If you find this video at all useful, then please give me that little bit of feedback by clicking on that thumbs up or the subscribe. You can ring on the bell if you want to receive a notification, and of course you can share the video with your friends. And I'd like to say a really big thank you to everybody who's bought me a cup of coffee and left me a donation in my toolbox fund. It's really appreciated and it does really help me to make more videos which will hopefully help you. So now we have the hub, the receiver unit and the thermostat all linked together. It's time to go on to the next stage, which is to download the app onto our smartphone and link the app to our Hive system. So get your smartphone. So mine's an Android. So I'm going to go to the Play Store, click on the Play Store, and then I'm just going to type in Hive in the top here. Now when I type in Hive, it's one of the first things that comes up. There it is, Hive. Tap on that, and I'm going to install the app. Now the app's installing, so I just skip to the part when it's finished. And there we go, the app's now finished installing. I can now click on Open and open the app. Now the first thing we're going to need to do is to create an account. So scroll down to the bottom, click on Create Account. We then have to accept some cookies or make your choices. I'm going to click on Cookie Settings. Scroll down to the bottom here. There's nothing I'm going to change, so I'm just going to click on Confirm my choices. Then we're taken to choose a country. Pretty straightforward. Choose the country that you're in. I'm in Great Britain, so I'm going to click on UK. Now I need to create my account. So this is where you put in all your personal information. So I'm not going to show you all my personal information, so I'm just going to jump straight to the end. Now I've finished putting in all my personal information. There's a little part here about your preferences. I don't want them sending any rubbish to me, so I'm going to click on Do Not Contact. Obviously you can get emails, texts or phone messages. Then we just scroll down and accept the terms and conditions and click on Register. Now it says thanks for setting up your Hive account, and they've just sent me an email to activate the account. So I've gone to my email box and here's that email from Hive. Scroll up and it says activate account. So we just click on the activate the account like that. Then I have to accept some more cookies. So click on that one. Now I need to create a new password. So now I've created my password. So I click on activate account. It now says thanks for setting up your account. You can now open the app. So I come out of that screen and I find the app on my phone and I click on the Hive app. So there it is, click on that and now that opens up. Now I just got to put in my new username and password and then click on log in. Now they send me a verification code by text. So I type that verification code in and click on verify. And there we go, I'm taken to a screen where it says welcome. And then I have to choose what system I have. Now I have the Hive Active Heating, so I need to click on the picture at the top. So I click on that and then it takes me through to the screen where it asks me what hub I have. I have a choice of the Hive 360 or the Hive Hub. Obviously I've got the square hub, so I'm going to click on that one there like that. And then it says your Hive Hub is the heart of your smart home. Now this is where we link the Hive Hub to the app on our smartphone, so we can then control all our Hive devices. So I click on start and then it says, have I got power on? Yes, power is turned on. So I click OK and then it says, is it all plugged in? Yes, it is. Now we need to find the ID code on the back of the hub and then enter it into the app just here. So here's the ID code just here on the back of the Hive Hub. So I've typed that into the phone and I'm going to click on enter. And as quick as a flash, it was all linked together. And now that's it. I can now control my heating from my phone. Now I just wanted to add in, Hive have just updated the app. So this is what it looks like now. And then if you have more thermostats, they'll be listed down here, or we can add them by clicking on that create new, or add any other smart device you might want to add to the app. So to control this thermostat, I just click on it like that. And that takes me to the thermostat controls. Now the big circle in the middle there is telling me the temperature that my room thermostat is set to. Also on the 3 tabs on the bottom here, you can see that manual is selected. So let's just get this a little bit closer so we can see what we're doing. So the thermostat is showing me the room temperature, and then it shows me the set temperature, which is 18 degrees, which is the same as it is on my phone. So if I just want to turn the heating up, I can just scroll down on the app here like this. Let's turn it up to say 25 degrees. There we are, 25 degrees. And now it's going to turn the heating on. And there you go, look, heating on. The green lights come on the receiver and my boiler is now firing up. Let's just turn it back down again like that. There we are, 16 degrees. Now it's going to turn the heating off. And there we go. We can see that light there again is flashing on the receiver. In around 50 seconds, it'll then turn the boiler off. Now, I'll briefly show you how to use the app. Now down on the bottom here we have some tabs. We've got manual and we've got schedule and we've got off. So that's very easy to select any of those. Now let's click on schedule. Now to set the schedule, that's the timer. We just scroll across like this. We can then just click on any of these time settings and adjust them. So let's click on that one. And now we can click the start time, the end time, and the temperature we want the room to be set to. So this is really nice and simple to operate. Now just a quick note, and this catches a lot of people out, when we're setting our times we must also set the temperature. So you can see I've just set that to 22 degrees. Now when you want your heating to go off, you want to make sure you set that temperature down low. So if you want to have an on period in the morning and then an off period, you want to make sure you set that temperature down low. So if you leave that temperature at say 18 degrees or 20 degrees, then when the house goes below 20 degrees, that's going to bring the heating back on again. So if you don't want it to come on, make sure that you set that temperature down low. So let's just click on that again, select the temperature and turn it down. Now I'm going to turn it right down to say, I don't know, 11 degrees. Then click done, and you can see there that it's now set at 11 degrees. And you can see the circle around that 11 degrees is slightly less orange, indicating that it's at a lower temperature. And when you set the temperature below 7 degrees, it'll go blue with a snowflake, indicating that frost protection is turned on. So I think that's probably enough about the app for now to get you going and using your heating. So obviously I've made a more detailed video on how to use the app, and of course you'll find that in the description below. Right, that's about it then. So I do hope my video has been helpful to you. If you want to watch my video on some more wiring options and stand options, you can click on a link just there. If you want to know about the smart thermostatic radiator valves, you can click on that link just there. And of course, give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe, ring on the bell, and a cup of coffee is always really appreciated. Bye for now. See you next time.